The year is 2012. I am 8 years old. I shuffle into the game store that used to sit on the main street in my town. I gaze upon the glorious poster that states, "Rental bio copy today," in all caps. My older brother looks at me. I look back at him. He grabs my dad's legs and yells, "Can we get it?" My father looks at the M for mature sign on the cover of the poster, sighs, walks up to the counter and murmurs to the woman at the desk as he exchanges some money for a rectangular box, which I know contains an absolute masterpiece. He hands my brother and I the case. Lo and behold, Halo fucking 4. What a fucking imbecile would want it fucking Halo 4! It wasn't until a year later, in 2013, when I got my hands on a copy of Black Ops 2. But my god, if it wasn't the greatest game ever created to my 10-year-old self. The multiplayer. No, get the camera! The campaign. Death to the MPLA! The music. Even the people playing it.
You're not even mature yet! You're always 6, nigga! You crying like a bitch!
I got called slurs so rare that my 10-year-old self didn't even know that the people that they were offensive to even existed. I sunk hundreds of hours into this game, to the point where I became so desensitized that I would actively run around the map murking fat old British men who would yell slurs at me so that I could feel the pride in knowing an 11-year-old beat their ass at a video game.
Hey, you're just mad because I'll be able to do something with my fucking guitar in hands that you'll never be able to achieve in your entire life, kid. So yeah, you're gay.
These years were the peak of my humor. The peak of a generation's humor. A time before cancelling and sensitivity. Not to say that these things are necessarily bad, but regarding entertainment, it definitely limits it. But this game knew no limits. Every aspect of it had an influence on me. However, the most influential aspect? Zombies. What the f? Call of Duty Zombies was like no other zombie game. It didn't have incredible gore with body parts flying everywhere.
This game is amazing.
It didn't have an open world where you could become obscenely overpowered. It didn't even have plants. But it had the most charm I have ever seen in a zombies game ever. As of recording this video on January 25th, 2022, 10 years after this game's initial release, I can still load up a zombies map, even a simple one like Town, and be entirely encompassed by nostalgia of which I cannot begin to describe. It's a feeling that for me can only be invoked by something like the original PS1 startup noise or the old Street Fighter 2 movie. A feeling that's personal to everyone, and a defining element of their childhood. But this game is one of the few things ever that I have seen invoke this sense of wide-eyed nostalgia to a greater audience. I have 1,000 memories of this game. Coming back home after a rough day of school and letting this game fill me with so much genuine pleasure that it would allow me to just shrug off the bullying and conflict school would provide. And it would submerge me in a world that could be my own. A distraction from the incessant struggle of life. To me, it was more than a game. It did its part in raising me, which is why I'm so disappointed by the state of this franchise currently. It's been years since these days, but I still come back to this game. And it brings back memories of my brother and I all those years ago, attempting to solve the Easter egg steps of Mob of the Dead or Origins, and eventually yielding and using the internet Because who the fuck could figure out that you need to shoot these panels and then run around and turn these knobs and then shoot some more shit and then run around some more and then turn some more knobs and then shoot some other, this weird orb that just shoots up into the sky and whatnot. The community could. Just after Mob of the Dead's release, at the peak of Black Ops 2's popularity, there was a grand communal effort to solve this legendary map's Easter egg. Being a part of it felt like you were part of something greater, and this sentiment was felt by the entire community, and the movement to solve the Easter egg was proven to be a success, and Mob of the Dead's Easter egg was solved in one day. I remember watching the videos surrounding this when it came out. I remember the hype that I felt, that I knew the community was feeling. It was indescribable. But it seems that sentiment no longer has value. When Easter eggs are solved nowadays, it feels like you're no longer a part of it, but just getting the information after the fact. At least that's how I've been feeling anyway. There's no longer hype, no longer a communal effort, and due to this, the modern Call of Duty Zombies community is dying. The glory days have passed. But the idea for zombies was so genius, so I'm left begging the question, why? We can see from other media, such as shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or Breaking Bad, that when formula is done right, then quality does not drastically decline like this over time. Simply, the execution of the formula by Treyarch was not up to scratch. So what did this game do wrong? Well, a lot of things, and this video right here explains those issues very well. But we're here to focus on what this game did right. There are the objective aspects regarding the design of this game that made its quality stand out so much. For example, the early rounds felt slow and steady, whereas the later rounds felt very fast-paced. This gave a cohesive and smooth sense of progression in each Zombies game you played. The map design was immaculate, and an element of the slow-paced early rounds was due to you having the requirement to purchase opening doors and exploring the environment. Things felt new and exciting, whilst almost emanating this strange sense of claustrophobia. Except for this piece of shit. But I feel the community unanimously agrees we don't talk about it anymore. With that being said, Transit did offer this sense of mystique and mystery, of which I haven't felt the presence of in a game since. This was especially the case if you were part of the community in those days. For example, do you remember the speculation around the B bus route Easter egg? There was so much proof and so many implications that I began believing it myself. Granted, I was very young, but this mystique was a tone felt throughout the entire series, whether it was implemented by the developers or put on by the fans. There was this mystery no matter what. And I think this mystery was in part due to the freshness there was surrounding zombies, and the room that they had for innovation. This time was the golden era for this franchise. Obviously, Black Ops 3 was a step in the right direction. It had good maps, but I'm gonna be honest, I fucking hate that game. Gobblegums? What the fuck is that shit? It kind of takes away the whole... Anyway, I won't argue. Unfortunately, the freshness of zombies may never return. But, you know, who am I to say it won't? Recently, Microsoft acquired Activision and made it so they no longer have to put out a Call of Duty every fucking year. Because honestly, we don't need 17 Call of Duties if most of them are gonna be kinda shit. This may be a step forward, a step towards the return to the glory days. But all we can do now is hope, for the fate of this fantastic franchise will ultimately be decided by the game developers at Treyarch. In conclusion, I just wanted to say some final things. It's very interesting because recently there's been this kind of, not explosion, but a lot of attention come back towards Black Ops 2. In fact, today, January 28th, 2022, is considered Black Ops 2 Revival Day, as tweeted by the official Warzone Twitter, which is actually really interesting. So if you feel like playing the game and getting some nostalgia in you, then feel free to. And, you know, it doesn't have to just be today. We can keep playing this game to show Treyarch and Activision that at one point they really did make good games. Really, really quality games that, you know, impacted a generation. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, then please subscribe. And yeah, I'll see you next time.
It's Birkin.